The first category is mistake as to the subject matter or as to the identity of the parties. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and always clicking every video that pops up on this channel. I really do appreciate you guys. I am grateful for the support. I'm grateful for always coming back to this channel and clicking on every video that pops up. I appreciate you guys, and you guys are the real MVP. So guys, in today's video we'll be talking about vitiating elements of a contract, and we'll be concentrating on mistake today. Guys, what happens when there is a mistake when you're signing your contract? What happens when you didn't intend to sign this particular contract? What happens when there is deception? What happens when there's a misunderstanding as to the factors that led to the signing of this contract? This is something that you're interested in. Definitely keep watching to the end of this video. So guys, in our previous videos we defined what a contract is and why you need to put a contract in place before committing yourself financially, intellectually, or in any other wise that you may commit yourself to in any transaction. Those are contained in other videos which I'll also be linking in this video. I'll be leaving the link in the description box. Vitiating elements of a contract are factors which, if they are present, are capable of making the contract void or voidable. A contract has been duly entered into, it has been signed, agreed upon, all the terms agreed upon by the parties, but then there is one or two factors in the contract that can make that contract either void ab initio, which is it is totally unenforceable, or voidable, which is when the party decides to treat that contract as unenforceable. There are several factors that can vitiate a contract. This includes mistake, misrepresentation, undue influence, duress, incapacity, and illegality. These are the elements that are capable of vitiating a contract. For today's video, we'll be concentrating on mistake. The doctrine of mistake is one that allows a party to rescind or repudiate a contract on the ground that if certain facts have been known before entering into that contract, he wouldn't have entered into the contract in the first place. A party operating under mistake as to fact, mistake as to identity of the parties involved, if he had known this thing, he wouldn't have entered into the contract in the first place. So this is the doctrine of mistake, which allows a party to repudiate a contract which he entered into based on facts that were unknown to him at the time of entering into the contract. The general rule is that parties are bound by the terms of contract which they entered into, and a party will not be allowed to repudiate a contract which he entered into only on the mere ground that it was not what he intended to go into, or it was not what he intended to sign. However, there are exceptions to this general rule which allows a party or parties to a contract to repudiate a contract which they have entered into with a mistaken belief as to certain facts or factors in the contract. There are generally two categories of mistake. The first category is mistake as to the subject matter or as to the identity of the contracting parties. The other category of mistake is mistake as to the kind of contractual documents which a party signs or in which the parties sign. The three types of mistakes we have: common mistake, mutual mistake, and we have unilateral mistake. Common mistake happens where both parties to the contract or all the parties to the contract are in common misapprehension as to the existence of certain facts or factors in the contract. Party A and Party B are both mistaken as to the same facts in the contract. So let's take for instance, Mr. A wants to buy a property belonging to Mr. B, and this property is located in Lagos, Nigeria. Neither Mr. A nor Mr. B is in Lagos, Nigeria, and they are entering into this contract with the understanding that the property is intact in Lagos, Nigeria. Whereas, let's assume that this contract was signed by 12 p.m. on a certain day, whereas the property has been destroyed by 10 a.m. and these people are entering into this contract by 12 p.m. In that instance, both Mr. A and Mr. B believed that property was in good and proper condition as at the time that they were entering into that contract, whereas the property was not even in existence. In this case, parties will be allowed to repudiate the contract because they both entered the contract under a common mistake, a mistaken belief as to the existence of the property. The second kind of mistake is mutual mistake, and this is where the two parties are not having meeting of the mind, consensus at the end. One party is offering something, but the other party is understanding what the party is offering to be another thing. So there is no meeting of the mind. Let's take for instance, Mr. A has 2 vehicles. Mr. B wants to purchase one of those vehicles. Mr. A has a Toyota and a Mercedes Benz. Now Mr. B is offering 4 million naira for the Mercedes Benz, but Mr. A thinks that Mr. B wants to purchase the Toyota, and based on that understanding, he agrees to sell the Toyota for 4 million naira, whereas Mr. B intended to buy the Mercedes Benz. In this situation, there is a mutual mistake on both ends. There is no meeting of the mind. There is no consensus at the end. And under this kind of situation, the parties will be allowed to either repudiate the contract or treat the contract as voidable. The third kind of mistake that we have is unilateral mistake, and this kind of mistake happens when there's only one party who is acting under a mistaken belief. Let's take for instance, there's a car dealer and a fraudster walks into the car dealer shop pretending to be a CEO of a company, and he picks one of these cars that he has some executives to pick, and that his secretary will come and make due the financial obligations. The car dealer, based on that understanding, decides to enter into a contract, that contract with this fraudster, and releases the car to this person with the understanding that he is a CEO of a well-known company. In this kind of situation, the car dealer will be allowed to repudiate the contract on the grounds that he was acting under a mistaken belief. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've been able to learn a thing or two about vitiating elements of the contract, especially mistake. In subsequent videos, we'll be looking at other elements that are capable of vitiating a contract, and even the concept of signing a document which you never intended to sign. Until then, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.